Alright, so I'm going to take a screenshot here. And this is from Guy. I mean, you can still rank a squeeze page with very little content on it, as long as you have your keywords that you're trying to rank. At least in the URL or title, and sometimes in the description. I just did a follow-up video of this for on page. It'll be a follow-up of the sink or swim method, so it'll be in that section where I talk about further on page, like when you should have a keyword in the content or when you need to. But I mean, yeah, you don't need a ton of content to have it rank Guy, especially if it's not like super competitive. So it all depends on the situation, but I mean, you should be okay with just the squeeze page and not the additional content in most cases. But if it's really competitive, you might need to do what you're talking about. So, all right, so let me go get another question because that one came in before the webinar. All right, this one is from GW. Domain stacking is more from Jimmy. I would, if you want to learn more about that, you'd take that course that he's given. I don't know as much about domain stacking as Jimmy does, but it's basically, using the power of high authority domains and kind of passing them on through properties to pass on that domain authority to a final property. But, Jimmy has a course on that and he explains it well. He's the master on that. From Andrew. I think it depends what theme you're using, Andrew. I don't do much of my much of that stuff. I let kind of Mike take care of that and other people. But it might be in your in your menu section. I would have to like go and look around to know exactly where it was. I haven't been there in a while. And Mike might be able to also tell you where that is if you email him. Alright, from Trevor. Yeah, I mean, there's no really bottom, as I explained before. It's just about the links going to it. I mean, if it has domain authority of 20 and it has some good links, I mean, it can be, it can be a good power site. The higher the domain authority, the more of a chance of being higher power. And yeah, when it loses links, it loses power. That is true. But yeah, there's no minimum. I have sites that have one really, really good link, and not really any others, and I still use them. It's just the risk of losing that one link, then your site totally falls off pretty much, or the PBN. From GW. Yeah, again, domain authority, domain stacking, I would keep with Jimmy. He's the expert on that. For Anders, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Anders, but when I want to rank for a keyword, I do it just like I show in the sink or swim method. So I'll do a link with best electronic cigarette. Then I'll do a separate link with best e-cigarette, a separate link with best e-cig, and I'll link it all to the same URL because they're all common keywords. So hopefully that's what you were asking. From Brian. I mean, it's just they're taking longer to give credit for the links for the blog networks, Brian. So when you put up a link on your blog network, previously you kind of see results in a few days, and you would pretty much see all the results right away. Now, you may put in a link, you see some movement in a few days, but then a month later you see a whole bunch more movement from that link. So let me go get a new screenshot. I think we already went over this question here from GW. Yeah, same thing, domain authority I would keep with Jimmy from Pete. Um, let's see. I mean, if you're doing a specific niche, I would probably do like orlandofitnesscenter.com/boxing, okay? And then all your boxing keywords would go to that URL. So you would link to, orlandofitnesscenter.com/boxing, and you would do stuff like, boxing gyms in Orlando, boxing gyms Orlando, Orlando boxing gyms, Orlando boxing, stuff like that. And that would all go to that URL. And for kickboxing, you would do orlandofitnesscenter.com/kickboxing, and same thing. You'd do separate links linking to that URL with kickboxing. All right. And you just keep sending links, and you'll start ranking for that if you have PBNs going to it. Like I mentioned before, you can't gauge something off domain authority alone. You gotta look at the links. Chinese anchor text can be okay. It's hard to analyze if what types of links they are because it's foreign. You can put them in a translator, I guess, but I don't. I can usually tell by looking at them just because I've been doing it so long. But foreign can be really tricky, especially if you're just starting. Um, but yeah, if there's it sounds like you said thousands. I think you meant thousands. Then that's probably a problem, Pete. It's probably too spammy, but that's just my opinion. From Ken. Who uses unique content that has a spawn, Ken? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, like what method you're talking about. I don't use spun content to my money sites. I just use unique content on my blog network sites. But if I'm linking to Web 2.0 type stuff, then I will have content spun. From Pete. I mean, you pick out a keyword and you put in a link and you see what's going on. And you can also like look at the domain authority rise through what's it called through SEO Moz, and Mike Pierce has found that it adds 10 to 25 domain authority on sites. So he did a lot of testing on that. You don't need to use Google Analytics on your PBNs. I wouldn't worry about that. It'll probably just end up getting you in trouble. I mean, it depends what your Brian left, but it depends what your It would also depend on how many keywords. What's your title? How many times you have that keyword in the content, and also if these are your only anchor text. But I could see both of these working. I wouldn't necessarily say the second one will get you a penguin penalty. And also it would depend on where the links are coming from. Are they coming from low quality links? If they're coming from low quality links, you're gonna have more of a chance of getting in trouble. So, but I could see both of these working because you're switching up the anchor text. Alright, so that was a big question, so it took up the whole thing. Let's go to the next one. From Miko. Yeah, I mean, I try to squeeze in as many keywords as I can, Miko, but when it comes to like totally different stuff, I mean, if anything, I would do like pet training. Um, I don't know if I would do two different locations. If anything, I would do like pet training in Nashville, Tennessee, and then maybe for like the URL, and then for the title, I would do dog training, cat training, and pig training. To take care of those keywords. Then you can target all three of those keywords in Nashville or in Nashville, Tennessee. But doing a whole big mix like this, like that would be pretty hard to pull off. Um, but yeah, I mean, you could do like pet training as the URL, and then have all of these three in the title, and you can cover all three. But you just gotta be careful about fitting too many, or if you're gonna expand, it's gonna be tough for you to get those expanded keywords in because you're not gonna fit like 10 types of training in the title. Most of the time you're gonna be better off just siloing, just slash pet training slash dogs or cats and have different. But I know what you mean, and you can do that every once in a while if it makes sense. In this case, I would say it probably doesn't make sense to do that. To try to get all the keywords in one URL, but there is certain cases where you can do that. Alright, no problem, Guy. Yes, sorry if I knew about domain stacking more, Guy, I would definitely answer those for you. I just want you to get answers from the the best source. I use cloak hosting a little bit, Vadim. I don't think it's any better or worse necessarily. I had some problems with some of my sites on there. It was kind of driving me crazy, but as far as like safety, I think it's about the same from what I saw. From Key, no, it's not necessary. And actually, I usually don't key. From Miko, I've never really tested that, Mika. No, no, I don't think they count them as the same anchor text. I do not. Uh, any little difference, they count as different anchor text. Whether if it has apostrophe in it, if it has just an S on the end, if it has a dash in it, it's different anchor text. SOA records are the records you sign up to a hosting account with. So when I talk about changing the SOA email, I'm talking about the email you signed up for the hosting account with, because it will attach that email to every site on your hosting account, which can be a footprint from GW. Yeah, I mean that could help the main authority GW for sure. And I usually do link together videos and of course link them back to my site and all of that. From Pete. Yeah, Pete, I cover that in Sink or Swim. I actually Becker actually thanked me, I believe, for the example you're talking about because he got that from us. So That's all in the sink or swim method. Bob, I haven't used them with the V silo. Um, yeah, I haven't used them with that. So if you want to use it with it, I imagine it would work the same way. And your your V silo stuff would just remain static, and then the V Kraken will give you your fresh content. But I've never used the two together. So from GW. Um, Not necessarily. I mean, I usually just link to the pages I want to rank for. You don't necessarily have to rank to multiple pages from GW. I believe they are adding that in GW, so I don't think it's necessarily set up that way yet, but I believe they are making some edits where you can use it for existing posts already, from what I believe. I'm guessing you're talking about the menu thing, Andrew. I don't, without seeing it, I'm not sure. I would probably have to like navigate through it and see, where they are and play with it. But I would go look at your menus. There should be like appearance menus and see if that changes it. So WordPress appearance menus and see what's in there, and if you change it on there, see if it appears in your on your site when you update it from GW. Yeah, and the existing ones do not, I believe, GW. I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty sure the existing ones do not, and they're going to have that in an update from Guy. Yeah, I mean, it depends on your situation, as I talk about in the video. For me, right now I'm trying to get as many sites as I can, so I'm willing to spend a little more. It just depends on your budget and what type of situation you're in. If you're strapped for cash, it would definitely make sense to just do more research and get the cheaper deals. So it really just depends on what kind of situation you're in. All right, this is from Hortense. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I would just start with Todd if you don't know what to do. He has really good support. He's in our community. I don't have problems with his hosting, so if anything, I would just start with Todd if you're unsure. From Ken. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Ken. No doubt about it. I'm in some of the most competitive niches there are, so no doubt about it. From Pete. Yeah, I consider the page rank, Pete, especially when it comes to price, because the page rank will determine how much it goes for, because that's what most people go off. So I know if it's showing a higher PR, it's going to go for a higher price. If it's showing PR5, it's going to go probably for at least a few hundred. Whereas if it's showing PR2, it probably won't go as much, even if the links are just as strong. So, it determines price, and also, if it's a higher PR, it does help, like, kind of solidify it as a stronger site, but at the same time, it's not everything. So, from Key. I don't believe you get the age key. You just get the some power from the links it has going to it. You have to be careful with redirects, so I don't mess with them too much. And I believe they pass like 90% of the link juice, from what I understand from Lloyd. I mean, I don't worry too much about that, Lloyd. It's more however many links I need to rank for what I'm trying to rank for. And also, it depends on the size of the site too. I have some sites where all the links go to the home page. I'd rather not do that, but I definitely have sites where all the links go to the home page and they're doing fine. So I would worry more about just getting as many links as you need to rank to whatever the URL, whether it's inner page or home page. From Wayne. I've never heard of Adobe Muse. I would probably make if it was like a client I think you're talking about, I'd probably recommend certain changes and have them do it. Or I would find someone that specializes in that platform and tell them what I want done and just kind of hire them and then pass on the expenses to the client. But yeah, I'm not going to go on myself and mess with something that I don't know about. Risk messing something up. From Brian. I mean, it's really local is easier to rank, but at the same time, then you got to deal with clients. So it just depends on your situation. When I was starting, I didn't care what I had to do, so I did client. That's the easier way to rank usually, easier way to get started. But then you got, I guess, more headaches you can say that come with it. You got to answer to clients and stuff. Affiliate, you can, once you rank and you're making money, it can be automated income. But at the same time, it's usually harder to rank for. It's harder, you got to work on conversions more. So both sides, I like both, but it's hard to tell you where to start. It depends on what you want to do. But I would say local is a little easier. It just might be a little more like upkeep work, if that makes sense. From GW. I mean, you'll probably help a little bit doing that. I've never tested the two. I would imagine it's somewhat the same, depending on the strength of your PBNs. Do I use Spider Spanker? Mostly I use Spider Spanker for my PBN sites to block the link aggregators from Vadim. I don't worry about the PR. I just check the links. That's all, Vadim. From Wahane. I have the upgrade version. I'll talk to Todd about if you need that or not. It depends what you're using it for, I guess. I just got the updated version just because it's so important for my business. I don't know exactly what the update did, but I think it was like 20 more bucks for me, and I just said, I'm gonna just go with the updated whatever or the Pro. From Ted. Yeah, I would worry about just getting the basics down first, Ted. The blog network stuff down, get that built, get that going, get stuff ranked, and then worry more about the main authority boosting. That's my opinion. From GW. I wouldn't worry too much about that for video. Um, I usually have multiple videos linked to my money site, GW, not just one. I'm not sure. I do not have a Mac, so I'm not positive. But if it doesn't work for a Mac, let me know. I think isn't there stuff on Macs that you can run Windows stuff on? Parallel or whatever it's called. I hate Mac, sorry. So I don't mess with Macs. but I think you can run any Windows programs on Macs, if I understand correctly. From Anders. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're doing, like how big of a site you're doing, but, if you got, like, gregsite.com, you don't just want, like, Nashville for if you're targeting Nashville SEO, like you said, you would want gregsite.com / you would either want to do this, if you're just targeting Nashville, I would probably go like this, but if you're going to be targeting other areas, I would probably do, gregslate.com /SEO /Nashville. Alright, so it depends how many locations you're going to be doing. If you're going to be doing multiple locations, I'll do it like this. If you're just doing one location, I'll do it like this. Hopefully that makes sense. From TD. I mean, it's a redirect. Just click, there should be a link below to say, go check out airline.com instead, and just click on that, and whatever links are going to this exact site, that's what you're interested in. Don't worry about the redirect stuff. I have had some instances where it did that, and it had no link to check this out. In those cases, I just skipped it. If I can't tell what links are going to the site, I'm not even going to bother trying to buy it. But that's very, very rare. Unless it's something new with OpenSite Explorer, it's rare that they won't even allow you to check out the links of this. But I have had that happen where it just shows the redirect and there'll be nothing under it to click, for this site here. If that happens, when that happened, a couple times it has happened, I just skipped it. I moved on to the next site. From Michael. Yeah, you can do that later, Michael. Go to WordPress, settings, general, and then you can change it in there. Just put if you have the non-dub version, just put in the dub in both URL slots in that general settings screen. From Jeff. Yes, you can use this on your money sites, Jeff. Yes. We're actually using it on Nashville SEO. Alright, from Mike Andrews. You would have to have whoever is doing them load up the desktop reloaded stuff. So whoever controls the site would have to, install everything and get it in motion. From Ted. Russell is in the Facebook group, Ted. If you have any questions about vSilo, I would ask Russell, because he's the owner of it. He can tell you how to best implement that for whatever you're trying to do. From Guy. Yeah, I mean, I usually ignore no file links. I wouldn't say I totally ignore them. Like, I keep them in the back of my mind. But for the most part, I don't look at them. And yeah, I mean, if it has tons of no files and one really good link, yeah, I would consider that for sure. From Brian. Yeah, so that's why we stay below Brian. Absolutely. Yeah, the problem with pillowing is like that at least is that it's a lot of low quality links. The more links you have, the more chance you have of running into problems. It's something that I used to do. I think I think he renamed it, but I don't really do that as much anymore. I might do it with PBNs if it's a really competitive keyword. I'll do it with PBNs and I'll just do longer anchor text. So if I'm trying to rank for best e-cigarette, I might do like the best e-cigarette online. With some weaker PBNs, so I don't, I'm not spending too much money, and I'll hammer it with really strong PBNs for the exact keyword. But yeah, the search engines are very pushy uh, when you start using the same anchor text more than once. Depending what that percentage is and how many links you already have. But yeah, if you use a keyword too much, your rankings can definitely go down. No question about it. So that's why I like to do the sink or swim method, where I switch it up a little bit each time. And I do that as much as possible before hitting another exact anchor text. Most of my rankings come from PBNs, Jeff. GSA, I'll have Jimmy do that for like Web 2.0 properties and stuff, but my main thing is PBNs. That's mainly what I use from Pete. I mean, I don't know the orthodontist niche, so it's hard for me to do that. And it would also depend on what the site name is, Pete. So, I mean, most likely I would have site name slash area of orthodontist. You know what I mean? Or niche or whatever. You know what I mean? Like teeth whitening, braces, whatever the case. I would probably have a URL for each area of this niche. From Matt. It doesn't have to be close at all, Matt. It can be totally different from what the PBN used to be about. Doesn't matter. You're just using the link juice. From Miko. I mean, they could, but that's part of the power of PBN Reloaded. We're getting signals to our sites. We're getting, we're updating our content and all that stuff. So that's kind of one of the reasons for PBN Reloaded. But I think it's a ways away before we have to worry about that at all. I mean, it depends. If they already have a site that's not WordPress, I'll just do some link building and recommend on-page changes that they do. Or if they can't do it, I'll hire someone and tell them they got to eat the extra cost. You know what I mean? So, no problem, Wayne. From GW. Yeah, why something's not ranking, I wouldn't know unless I looked at it specifically. It could have to do with your PBNs, the strength of them, competition of keywords, um, anchor text selection, URLs, titles. It's a mix of all of those things. From Michael. Can they find them all? There might be a way, Michael, but if you follow, what I show, then those chances go down, a lot. Because someone that really, really knows their stuff, find your sites, probably. I'm not very technical, so I'm not positive. But if you follow what I show you, 99.9% will not be able to find them. From Nancy. Protects from hackers. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, Nancy. I would Google Yoast. Yoast plugin protects from hackers. See if Google can help you. You're welcome, Brian. from Lloyd. For the home page, you're going to be a lot safer to build like the same keyword, Lloyd. But if it's a different page, follow the sink or swim, where you're switching up the anchor text a little bit each time. And you still kind of want to follow that for the home page. We just don't have to be as strict with it, because most of the links are going to be going to the home page. But for a different page, yeah, I mean you have to. I would use the sink or swim method exactly. All right, and Ted says I am right about Mac. Install Parallel and run. It runs about anything. So from Bob. I don't use the last keyword tool. I don't use any keyword tool, to be honest. I just kind of use the Google Keyword Planner. And then, I'll do a search. So I'll do a search, and then I'll just scroll down here and see what recommendations they make. I'll throw some of these in the Google Keyword tool, see if I can dig any deeper. So that's all I do for keyword tools. EMD stands for exact match domain name. So, if I'm trying to rank for Nashville SEO, or if my keyword's Nashville SEO, and I have NashvilleSEO.com, that's an exact match domain. So it's the exact keyword we're trying to rank for. From Michael. I mean, it could be, Michael. I haven't messed too much with them. I would be careful about how many you have coming in, because remember, if you have a ton coming in from Tumblr, I believe they're going to all be the same IP. So you have to be careful about that. So I wouldn't go crazy with them or anything, but yeah, I mean, they could help. From Jeff. Um, 33 referring domains. Or 37 with domain authority 23. That's a little high, but it could be okay. I'd have to see the links. So I'm not totally sure, Jeff. If anything, you might want to set up a page and send a link to it for a fairly easy keyword and see how it moves. I'll test like that sometimes. Even with sites that I'm pretty sure are good. Sometimes I'll test them first. I'll set up a page with an somewhat easy keyword, and I'll link to it and see how it moves. Because sometimes I'll buy sites that I think are going to kill it, and they don't move that well. Other sites I'm like, this site's might have trouble ranking, and it ranks like crazy. So you can always test it with a link and see how it moves, or even just put up a page, for an easy keyword and see where it goes without any links at all. You know what I mean? Just from the URL. I'll do that as well. From Wahane. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the competition of the keyword, though. Yeah, you can. From Yomi. That should all be in the training, Yomi. Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different site. Your PBN is a totally different site. Now you set up on hosting, get a unique IP, and install WordPress, and then follow the settings that I recommend for PBNs. But that should all be in the supremacy section. From Bob. I mean, I personally don't, Bob. I'm not going to say you shouldn't, because I don't. There could be a way to use it, but I personally don't, Bob. From Janet. Nope, no harm in that. I mean, if it loses links over that, over the time that you don't use it, it's going to lose some of its power. But that's going to happen anyways. If you buy the site now and set it up for the client right away, and it loses some links over time, it's going to lose that power anyways. So, there's not really any harm in letting it sit dormant. From Anders. I don't know, Anders. It doesn't really matter though. I usually just do post just because it's easy. I just know the post shows up on the home page right away. But no reason you can't do a page and set it as a static home page. I mean, it's the same thing pretty much. Pillowing is just sending links with, like, if we have this, this site here, we're trying to rank for Nashville SEO, he's saying, like, okay, send a link with click here, send a link with more information, whatever. And then in this case, if you now do, Nashville SEO, you have a 33% anchor text for Nashville SEO. Whereas if you didn't do that, if you didn't do any pillowing, what he calls it, you would have 100%. But I show you the way that I do it. I don't think pillowing is really necessary. I do more like I guess what he calls a pillowing with longer anchor text in this situation. You know what I mean? Like I'll do, I've covered what I've done for this site. I'll do like Nashville, Tennessee, search engine optimization. And then Nashville, Tennessee SEO services. So I do stuff like that where I'll slowly work in the keyword more and more. Here I have it. I have Nashville and then a synonym for SEO with another word in there. Here I have the exact keyword in here with two other words in between, Tennessee and services, and I'll slowly work towards that keyword. And when you do it this way, these are all high quality links. Whereas when he's using pillowing, that's low quality links coming to your site. I just don't like the low quality links coming in, me personally. From Vadim. No. No, the most important thing is just, relevant article, and then the anchor text you use. That's the most important thing. From Ken. I haven't heard of that, Ken, so I'm not exactly sure what that is. So I haven't seen that yet. From Anders. Not sure exactly what you're asking, Anders. I mean, when you link to this URL here, this is what's going to show up in the search engines for whatever keywords you're linking to it with. So if you're linking to this with Nashville SEO type keywords, this is what's going to rank for Nashville SEO type keywords, this URL. So they'll see this, not this, in most cases. Alright, so hopefully that's what you're asking. Alright, so that's question. .info domains, I don't like them for them because, I mean, you go do any search, how many .info domains do you see? You know what I mean? I can just do a random search and I can almost guarantee you there'll be no .info. Let's just do like, fat burning tips. It's going to be mostly .com, .org, .net. That's what ranks. I've always used those, and that's why I use them because we see all .com, .org, .net ranking. Whatever you type in, that's mostly what you're going to see. You don't see many .co, .info, .biz. You don't see those because .com, .net, .org are kind of the trusted domains. Whoops, fat. Let's go do another one like Orlando gyms. We got .com, .com, .com. All .coms in the local. There's a .net. .com, 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 and .com. Just when you do a search, what do you see? That's one way to determine, should I do this or should I do that? What are you seeing in the search results when you search random terms? And you just never see .infos because they don't rank that well. From Yomi. It doesn't necessarily have to be with 5 different hosts, Yomi. I would just put them on 5 different IPs. So you can use like an SEO hosting company like BizBuilder, SEO hosting, ASEO hosting, all those services. You can have the same hosting account and put put some sites on the same hosting account, but then just change the IP each time. All right, awesome, Wahane. Glad it's clear. We got 10 more minutes, guys. If there's any more questions, we had a few more come in here. All right, from Jeff. You would just put it up as soon as you could, Jeff. So it'd start sending signals to whatever URLs you add. It'll start sending signals to them. All right. From Dan. Nope. And actually, it's preferable, Dan. That can get things going. So definitely no problem with that. I can actually help you. From Ken. And Dan, I'm actually looking forward to when they make the change that you can do it on existing posts because I'm going to be using it on a lot of my money sites. So from Ken. It depends what type of keyword, I guess, Ken. In a lot of cases, I just kind of use my judgment. Like, if I'm searching for this, what would I search for? Or, what would small variations of this search be? So if I'm looking for a gym in Delaware, like a new gym to join, what would I go and search for? I would probably do like best Delaware gyms, best gym in Delaware, list of Delaware gyms. what would I type in to find that? You know what I mean? And then just kind of write those things down. And then if you go and type those in Google, they always do suggestions. Now, so I can go down here. Okay, what? Okay, I shouldn't say they always do suggestions because there's none here. Let's go do a more common search. I should say they do suggestions for more common searches. For this, they should have some suggestions. Yeah, so Delaware County gyms, Delaware personal trainers, Delaware health clubs, all right, 24-hour gyms, and then you can kind of use these to, best to use what you used. All right, best Delaware County gyms, best Delaware health clubs, best health clubs in Delaware, 24-hour gyms in Delaware, best 24-hour gyms in Delaware, stuff like that. So you can use these down here to kind of mix what you would do yourself. And that's what I do. I use my own brain with what Google provides me, whether it's keyword tool or these suggestions down here. Hi, Key. Yeah, if they have different IPs, that's fine, Key. Alright, so we got a whole bunch of questions in when I said I got no questions left, so that's good. Yeah, in that case, James, you don't really need to change the name servers if you're using separate hosting account for each one, because then they're all going to have different name servers anyways, so yeah, you're right. From George. I'm not sure, George, because I don't really, again, I don't use them. I don't use other domains because you just don't see them ranking. Just nothing ranks as well as .com, .net, .org. From Key. I would talk to someone like Todd Spears about that, Key, because he's like really technical about that stuff, or talk to their support. And see, like, make sure they're on different IPs because I don't know exactly what they're doing with you. Because I do have a Bluehost account where I use dedicated IPs, and that's fine. But it sounds like you shared hosting. Yeah, I would make sure on that, Key, because I'm not totally sure what you have and what they're doing. I just don't want you to get messed up. From GW. Yes, I believe so, GW, where they will send out an update and it will allow you to use it on existing URLs. And I believe that's coming. I'll talk to Mike. I'll email him when we're done and see what the deal is with that. Let me actually write that down. So I'll email him when we're done to check on that. And I'll update you guys next time. From Janet. I wouldn't use it for too many sites, Janet. Again, I don't understand like the technical stuff behind, like all the inner workings of different IPs and how deep all that goes. Todd knows all that stuff, and he said he recommends against it, so I'll just go with his technical know-how. But I'm not going to worry about switching the ones I currently have. I just wouldn't. If you're going to use this still, I just wouldn't do too many with Host 9. Like I wouldn't do all your sites with Host 9. And I think Todd talks about that in the videos. I'm not totally positive though. You're welcome, Jeff. From Matt. Matt, I covered this in a recent video. I think I did it like a month ago, where I talk all about how many links you can do and all that type of stuff. I believe it was like March, mid-March, the video came out, Matt. I have never used zip codes in my keywords, but no reason you can't, Bill. Definitely no reason you can't do that. Bill, I've never thought of it, and I've never had to. But again, there's no reason that you can't do that. Patrick, I personally like them being interdispersed, rather than like a list. But there may be cases where you can do a list and it could be fine. If you're saying like, here are my resources for whatever, and then you have like, a list of a few links. There's nothing wrong with that. I just usually like separate them throughout the content. That's just me. Either way will work though. From Michelle. Um, I mean, PBN Reloaded will help you keep content fresh, Michelle. So if you're using that, it's going to update content almost every day because you're getting a new video in there almost every day. But if you're not using that, I don't worry too much about it. But adding new content, keeping the site fresh does help, and that's part of the power of PBN Reloaded. So, but at the same time, I have so many sites that I'm not too worried about that. If the link's there, the link's there, and I'm getting the power from it. Probably could be increased a little bit by adding new content, keeping the site fresh, but again, I'm not worrying about that, like over worrying about it. From Brian. I wouldn't worry about a 50-mile radius necessarily, Brian. You can pretty much do anywhere. Again, I've worked with clients all over the United States, so it doesn't have to be someone close to you or anything like that. From Yomi. Yeah, I mean, you can host 5 sites with the same company, and then each of those 5 sites will just be on different IPs, and you can do whatever you want with them. You use it for money sites, you can use them for PBNs. They can be on the same host, just with different IPs. From Key. Huh. Yeah, I would double check on a key just in case, though, because you don't want to like run with that. Get a project going. Think you have all your sites on different IPs, and then it ends up not being the case, because that could really really hurt you. So I would just double check on it. It's worth it to double check on that one. You're welcome, Pete. From Rich. I mean, you can just Google them if you're not doing that many keywords. I personally track about 20,000 keywords, so I use this site, micrositeMasters.com. I'm paying them about $1,200 a month, because I have so many keywords I'm tracking. But they have a free plan that starts at 10 keywords, and then their lowest one is 20 a month. It tracks 150. Alright, so let me see if I have any more final questions here. It's a little after 3, and then we'll get this in the bag. So we got a few more here. PBM page post should be in the members area, Rich, with the PBM reloaded content from Anders. Anders, it should be available. It might be in there now. I will check the news section. I don't know if I sent it to David yesterday. I don't know if he uploaded it yet. If he did, it would be mentioned in the news section. You know, latest news in your members area. If it's not there yet, it'll be there very soon because I sent it to him yesterday and he said he's going to get it up. So, from Grant. I don't. I mean, It's not a problem for me, Grant. So I wouldn't say it's a problem. But Todd's saying it could run into problems in the future. So I'm just going to not do any further sites with Host 9. Again, I don't understand like the technicalities of it. So, from Rich. They do not have to be themed, Rich. You can do them on different topics. PBM Reloaded, Ken, we talk about that in the members area. So go check out the members area. There should be some videos on it. Awesome key. Alright, cool. Alright, guys, so it's a little after 3. I'm going to get this recording in the bag. Next session is Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, Sunday morning. Alright? So thanks for coming, guys. I will see you all at the next session if you all show up. See you then.